Well guys, welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. This is just a regular short fishing trip down here at Vale Farm on a bank I haven't fished before. I've come around the opposite side. Yeah, 2 or 3 guys fishing here. It's got some lovely looking swims. And you know what, I can't believe that I've fished here several times and I've never walked around this side, because it definitely does get a lot of fishing attention. But look at all these nooks and crannies, all in here with the willows hanging down. So what I've done is pick a swim further up here, and I'm just going to see if I can get something on basic, just some slices of bread and some ground bait. That's all I've got. Rig's going to be basic. It's just going to be same old story with me, free lining with 1 BB shot, size 12 barbless hook, and see if we can't get something feeding. I'm just in here. You can see I'm all set up there. Got my rod sloping slightly down because I don't want any friction on the line if I can help it. So I'm just free lining. Got the big camera there, all geared up. I've already put ground bait straight out, so I'm basically fishing down there. See just where those berries are. Figured maybe some berries falling off the trees might attract the fish, I don't know. And I'm straight out there, and I've already got fish. You won't see them, tiny bubbles. So I haven't even made a cast yet. So first thing I do, always, ground bait goes in first. Usual old mix, get that in there. What I do, if there's a lot of bream everywhere, chuck them out. I'm about there, very, very, very close, barely a rod length. A lot of bream, a lot of small fish. I squeeze the ground bait balls quite hard so that the small fish don't actually, they've really got to chew away at it to break it up. If you chuck it in loose, if you're catching bream, rudd, roach, then of course you want them feeding like that. But I sort of don't want them feeding. I want to try and get myself a carp if I can out of this. But they are bubbling. I know they're going to move on it, the bream. And then just a piece of bread flake's going to go on there. But I will chuck the odd piece out on the surface just to see if something comes up. I'm sure it will. Got a nice still corner there. I'm using bread flake. I'm breaking the bits of crust off like this first, keeping the flake, the softer flake, in the middle for my hook baits. Out that goes. You just see it really, really, really close. So I'm peeling off the crust, off the bread, leaving myself the flake. I can always throw the flake in again if I want. There, and already coots have come in, and there's some small fish going for this. I'm going to chuck some under that bush. In fact, what I'm going to do is chuck them in the trees, and they'll all tumble down, fuel stick, and they'll be right in close there. Right, let's get something out. Avon rod, 5 or 6 pound line. But just interesting, guys, what I've done here, I've reversed this line. I've got, like, I don't know, 125 yards of 5 or 6 pound on there. I think it's 5. Had a lot of fish on it, but you never really get to the underneath of it. Well, certainly in England, there's not, look, most of the lake's barely 200 yards across. I've reversed it. I've already got backing in there. Anything I've lost to bring the line up to the edge of the spool, I've peeled this off, put it on a spool, backed up, say another 30 yards on there. Then got this spool, put this onto another spool. So basically, when I put it back on, the top is the bottom is the top. I reverse the line, and all this line is nice and shiny. If it's smoky, goes smoky, it's been dragged across here, the rod rings a lot from fighting a lot of fish or whatever, and you'll find it will get slightly, well, it will get weak eventually. So this is nice and shiny. It looks like new line, but it's not what it is. It's been on the bottom of the spool and it's been reversed. Hook is size 12 there, single BB shot, and if the fish come up on these bits of bread, I shall be going floaters on the top, which you are allowed to use here at Vale, which is nice to have a fishery you can actually do floater fishing from. And the fish are good here. They don't allow matches, I don't think. That makes a huge difference, you know, to the quality of the fish. Get a piece of bread flake. Although I've only got a size 12, I'm using a relatively large piece of bread flake. Again, because I don't want to get pestered by the small fish. Swing it out, dip it once. I can see where all the bubbles are. Right on the top. Shake off the loose line. Check your drag. Wind down slowly. Always be prepared for a tug on the way down. There we go. Now I'm going to put a bobbin on there. I'm using a good old washing up bottle top with a slot cut in it, so it slides up and down, and hopefully, is that buzzer working? It's working. Look at the rat. That was a rat, guys. Well, I might call it a water bowl. I feel it's a rat. And I want a very, very, very short drop. It might even come up a little bit higher. The higher you have the angle on the slope, the less friction there is across the rings. So that one's all ready to go. Just missed my first fish, guys. Screaming take. Let's get this reel untangled. How do I know it's definitely a fish? There. A big old scale on the hook. So he was swirling around the bread, spun up all this line here. Let's give it another go. Just pinch the eye of the hook so it's not too hard. Definitely don't want it to go into some sort of doughy mix. Carp just swirled up there on some bread, so a little bit more crust and throw that out there and see if they come up again. I need another bobbin in amongst the junk heap here. Nearly. I feel one coming, guys. Now, with the bobbins, I like to bring them right up there, shallow, so I can hit them. Just let that weight of the bobbin tension up where the bait is. Without, if you fish a big bobbin, it's going to keep bumping that bait back. So I've got 1 BB on there. That's it, perfect. Loads of bubbles out there. Oh, there we go. I might even go to a lighter bobbin, guys, I don't know. Sit back and relax. Coat off, I feel. Bite on the right hand one, perhaps a drop back. Carp over there. Wow. It's an action-packed area for sure. I've got this big overhanging bush there, like a sort of rhododendron type bush. I could also fish down the right down there if I wanted. But I've gone for straight out, and there's so many bubbles out there. I know the bream are already on the ground bait. I'm just going to gradually keep that swim going if I can, because they can pile through the bait easily. Another drop back bite, another drop back. It's about to kick off there, guys. This one under the bush. Oh, look at the rat. There's a rat there, see him? Just down there. Probably if I put some bread down there, I reckon that rat's coming down the front here in a minute. As long as he doesn't come up round me, I don't mind. Now, one thing I don't like doing is leaving that bread in there too long, because when it lays on the lake bed like this, a small fish will be nibbling away at it. And although you're getting tweaky bites, they're biting a piece of flake off all the time. So I just like to give it 3, 4, 5 minutes. If I don't get any takes, bring it in, put a fresh piece on. It is, after all, about 40p a loaf. I'm getting dropbacks all the time. I might have to go to a light bobbin on this left hand, or a very, very light one. It's still dropping back, you can see. That's the fish knocking it. Fishing like this, just don't take your eyes off anything. It's not a self-hooking device. It's not a bolt rig where they do it all themselves and you just wake up and wander across and wind it in. You've got to make sure you're fishing with this method and concentrate on the bobbins, not just relying on the buzzer itself. Buzzer's just a backup in case I sort of look away or I'm messing with the camera here. What I'll be trying to do is just keep... Got one on, guys, got one on. Let's see if we don't get in a mess there. Looks like a bream to me. Looks like a bream to me. Oh, he's come off. Take the camera out of my mouth. It's actually saved me a bit of trouble. So the bream moved in there. That means I'm going to be getting through the ground bait. Well guys, I'm way over the back, over the left, over there. I've got bread down here, but it's drifted really down here. It's too close. I've got my bread flake on the bottom in the swim there, but my wagler float is out there as far as I can throw it on this Avon rod. Nothing but nothing is coming in close, which is very unusual. Normally, and I've got my big camera set up here ready in case. I mean, I packed up at least 40 minutes ago. I allegedly stopped fishing according to my phone call to my wife. I've missed that, so obviously that means I've got to have another cast now. So that's my setup there, just so you know what I'm starting to pick these fish up on. Wagler float locked either side, but only about 2 feet away from the bait, the crust. I cut up on my lucky table here, crust of bread, on goes the hook, in once, out, just pinch a little bit over the black of the hook. I suppose if people made white hooks, that would be quite handy for bread fishing, wouldn't it, when you think about it? I've never seen a white hook. There, I can cast it, whack it out as far as I can go. I'm trying to get in that dark shadow look over there, purely because I can sort of see a little bit better. Now, oh, fish straight on it. So the thing with a wagler is to space it and pull the float away from the bait, but then don't move it at all. So as soon as the crust gets taken by the fish, it registers on the float. I personally, at distance like this, don't bother striking when I see the swirl. The most important thing to do is to wait till you see the float move. That's your indication. So you can get a lot of activity around a piece of crust, boiling, swirling, that sort of thing, but just stare at the float. Once they start nibbling and nosing that piece of crust, don't take your eyes off it. Just keep your eye on the float, and hopefully when the float goes under, you have to do a lightning strike. I'm going to pack up in a minute because I've got a little bit of breeze pushing me left, and that makes it drag too fast. Also, it's gone dead on the inside. So I'm very close to packing up. Well, I've got some bread out there, and I'm getting fish that are starting to take bread off the surface. There's so many bubbles coming up here. Me pan left. Let's see if you can see these. You can see just an incredible amount of bubbles coming up around those bits of bread that I've got floating out there as well. Could even go to touch ledger in here, I feel, which is actually my favourite method of fishing, but you generally use one rod for that. Here comes the rat, I think. I think it's actually a race between the carp getting that floating bread and that rat. Two rats, so excuse me. Well, I'm actually getting so many beats on this and seeing some action on the surface, I'm tempted to actually put a piece of crust. Well, I've got to keep my eyes peeled behind in case the rats suddenly come up from the back. This one on the inside, I'm not getting the same amount of bites that I do over there. I think I might even have to go to a float in a minute, I'm not sure. Yeah, because I'm only using bread flake and I've got that 1BB shot, the actual weight of those plastic bobbins is too heavy, and I can't really sort of tighten up with a short drop as the weight of the bobbin is bump, 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 bump all the time, pulling it back. So as soon as the fish touches it, I'm getting a drop back bite instead of a pull up bite. Both of them, so I know that the plastic is too heavy. I think we'll change over to those little plastic spines, coils of spines that I use. They're very, very light. Still no fish, just that one bream. Missed him, you see. I think this bobbin here is too heavy. Just got that gut feeling. It's not a science. It's just that when you haven't had a fish and you're getting bites and not really converting, that is a time to start thinking why are these bites not converting into fish? So they go away. Fish are moved in, they're definitely there. Rats are moved in. Roland the rat. Dirty rat 40. Let me give it about 30 minutes and I'm going to go float fishing. I might even put 2 floats in the one swim, forget this left hand swing. Another way to do it is to put the reels on back on and fish straight tight to the bait. All I'm going to get then is a tone off the buzzer, but I'm also going to be, if I sit watching, the bow in the line where it enters the water, you can see it tweak and start to pull tight, actually strike before the buzzer even has an indication. A little bit too much wind for really, really nice fishing. Get bites all the time, funny bites, I think they're pretty. Oh, you see what I mean? See what I mean, guys? Oh, lost it again. Just changing that bobbing weight. And I lost a fish straight away. And there's a lot of fish down there. It's not a carp this time, look. On the hook, tiny scale. There. Bream. At least I know what's in there. So when the bream slow up a little bit, hopefully that's when a carp might have moved in. Well, getting sort of intermittent activity on the surface. So I've taken the shot off the left hand rod, even the right hand rod in the baited swim. I'm going for a piece of crust out there. They're not really going gangbusters on it yet, the crust. But there's enough fish out there, and 1 or 2 look decent. I feel I could just sit and hold this and keep an eye on the other one, but at least touch lead of this one while I'm out there. Floating crust. It's just gone out there. And I hold the line across my fingers. So as well as visual aspect, I've also got the sensation of the pull through my skin on my fingers. I can feel it tug. And if I have to, I can reach across and grab the other rod as well. I cast out there, what happens? Carp comes up down here. Sometimes you have a feeling it's going to be one of those days. And here comes Roland the rat looking for my bread. If you do want to make rats dive, if you do that squeak sound like that, they nearly always dive, because that's what happens when a fox grabs them. They squeal. Well guys, fish on, off the top. I'll try and get this other line out of the way, because I don't want to lose anything today. If I can. Yeah, I'm moving him, doesn't feel like a monster. Who knows? You never know here, you never know. Well, I'll keep him down there. I've got to keep him moving in case that rat eats him. And that was just an isolated piece of crust on its own. Fish about 4 or 5 pounds. I did see 1 or 2 bigger swirls out there, I feel. This will be number 1. If I can get him in. Well, he's not giving up easily. Joking apart, he's actually bigger. Much bigger. This shows you can misjudge fish's size. But, gratefully accepted misjudgment that was. Well, first cast for the wagler float. Didn't last 30 seconds, I got a fish on. Peculiar fight though. I feel like a carp. This one's a bream on treble A batteries because it's fighting. Well, it's about a 3rd or 4th change I've made, and there you go. Seems to have made a difference, doesn't it? It's one of those days. I was just talking to the owner's father, came around, and and he said he's sure high pressure brings the carp up on top, and a dropping pressure, well, I suppose puts them down. I mean, they're down there feeding, but man alive, the bites are a bit picky. But the float seems to do it. Let's soldier on with the float. I might even put the 3-line rod out. Well, I've got a link ledger on as well now, as well as the float. I've lost one on the float. Now I've just picked one up on the link ledger and ground bait paste. So it's about 5 changes I've now made. Come on. Living dangerously with those roots, so nice combination. Again, a bit bigger than I thought. She's got a hole still like the crazy commons. I guess close to 9, close to 9 pounds. Nice fish, but man, I don't think I've made so many changes. I can't seem to settle on anything, and neither can the fish. But I'm still ticking away. What's that? 2 bream, 3 bream, 2 carp. I'm happy with that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. All fishermen are greedy, they want more. No more carp. Yeah, another fish on here, guys. I don't know if it's a bream or whether it is in fact a carp. It's a decent bream, if it's a bream. It's going nowhere at the moment. And that's on the float. It's a weird fight, I have to say. Could be a foul hook bream. It does happen when they shoulder. Could also be a small carp, of course. It's a regular sized carp. Go. Doing about a common about 6.5 pounds. Had about 6 bream, 3 carp. So good little session, but very, very hard to read the bites. Well, I've had about a 10-12 bream. It's been unbelievably, well, it sounds difficult. Can't be that difficult, but it is. Changed it again, taken all my shot off the wagler float. Put the wagler float itself about 15-20 inches from the hook. Put a piece of floating crust on to get right out. And I've just hooked up a fish. It might be my closeout fish. And I've had another couple of carp. I just can't seem to get this swim sorted. I don't know why. Let's show you this one, people. I've lost a few fish as well. I don't know why I'm pinging fish off. You just have these days, don't you? When it just doesn't go right. You don't feel right. Well, don't get me wrong, not being ungrateful is what it's about. 5 carp, say a dozen bream in an afternoon. It's quite a nice carp, actually. There we go. I've had to use about 6 or 7 different techniques to get some fish today. I mean, it's been steady, it's been very steady, but considering the number of fish in the swim that are bubbling and blowing, I should have had a lot more. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it quits now. Pretty good session, I suppose, really. I shouldn't be ungrateful, should I? But I just can't, it's annoying when I can't get one technique nailed down. I reckon it's a high pressure, or it's that guy, Smith. I was just watching that float, that wagler float, and the other bobbin went up. A couple of beeps, I've got a bream. So there you go, thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Watch out for Mike's TA Outdoors, especially you've got nothing else on television to watch. Some of those bushcraft films are quite interesting. We'll see you again next time, and hopefully, bream number 13, that means I've got a fish on, it's bad luck 13. Hopefully we get some more for you. Maybe, just maybe, I've got a technique nailed down. I've had another carp after I did that close out. Next cast out, again this one looks quite a decent fish. This is quite a good one, guys. Just sort of guessing this, but it's a nice one. Yes, that's a common, I guess, going around about the 9 pound mark. I think he's just going to be shy of 10. But a great closeout fish. Wagler floats 2 or 3 feet from the bait, and you don't strike when you see the swell, you strike when you see that wagler float dip. Let's get him back. Well, I never thought I'd get one to camera like that. Literally wait for that wagler float to pop under. It's weird, it normally takes you an hour to get a technique sussed out. Today's been weird. It looks like that distance fishing. Come back here, come back here. Looks like that distance fishing, crust showing up the wagler floats done the trick. You can see the bobbins there, I'm just getting bream on that. It's about 6 pounds, guys. And of course you know what this means. It's time for one more cast. I'm about 20 already. Smith, I know where you live. Got the method nailed. On the top. Distance, wagler. And the lucky chair. It's might be bigger than I thought. It's about 9 pounds. 4 in a row. I don't think it's worth putting that ledge order up almost. Just stick with what I've got. The last few slices of bread going in the water. I've had a good session, but the fact that I've had to change and change and change, I really fight hard to get those fish. We were talking about the changing the pressure and changing the weather, definitely. And I mean, he's had these lakes for years, so he knows what comes out each day. he definitely said that the air pressure makes a difference. Maybe there's a low pressure coming in or high pressure. It's on the change. My goodness me, there's a carp right under me. I think he deserves a piece of bread. Oh, there's loads down there. I won't put any more out. Got him boys. What a method, holy schmoly. Long distance, long range wagglers on the surface. Do you know what, the guy over there's got a fish as well, right over on the other side. He's had a pretty good session over there. I don't have no idea whether he's just on bread. I think I see a packet of bread there. Not a lot moving on the surface though. Oh man, what's going on here? It's got new batteries. What is happening? Poor old Avonrod's had another incredible hammering today, or this afternoon. What is this fish doing? He came in really easily, and he is not coming in easily now. Is he going to go cutting through to the left? That tells me he knows where that snag is. No, he's not a big fish. He's got the other line. I got him. That's why he swirled at the crust, look. And it looks like the Drandle tangle. So there's a fish, guys. What do you think? 10 to 7's got to be worth. What I'm going to do is have one more cast while I pack up. It takes me a while to put the cameras away, so let's have one more cast. Just put the bobbin on one more time. I've got the ultralight bobbin on, thinking that was going to be the basically be the business, but it weighs like nothing, that one. One more cast at long distance waggler, and then it will get dark really quick tonight. Quite a bit of cloud out there. And thankfully no ducks. Well, still another carp moving out there. That's a shame I've seen him, because that means I'm going to stay longer. Right. Start tidying up, guys. Fish all over my float out there. Also got company in the shape of a white cat, which has been attacking those rats, and did in fact have one. Oh, just wait for that float to go. See, I didn't strike at the swirl. You probably won't be able to see it back there, but I didn't bother striking at the swirl. I'm waiting for the float to go. Oh, a fish on here. Oh, just saw that out of the corner of my eye. Got to be a bream. It's a bream. What's that, about 14 bream?